Welcome to the Junior Podcast. My name is Kim Ferlato. I'm the Director of School Counseling here at the high school. Throughout this presentation, you will hear from myself, Ms. Kathleen Grant, and Ms. Colleen Green as we discuss the steps students will need to take as they begin to plan for graduation.
Hello, this is Kathleen Grant, school counselor for students whose last name begins with the letters A through G. I'll be discussing transitions for students and going through several post-secondary options for high school students. After high school, many students move away from home, whether they go to college, join the military, or participate in a gap year. It's important to start preparing for this transition now and transfer some responsibilities away from parents and to students. Here are several things that students may consider taking on responsibility for. So for example, in college, if you have an issue in your class, you're not understanding the material, you have a problem with a professor, it really is the student's responsibility to advocate for themselves and to sort out the issue. So perhaps now is a good time for students to start taking on that responsibility here at Verona High School with their classes and their teachers if they have not already done so. Where students end up after high school may have lifelong implications. However, sometimes students make this decision without much self-reflection or discussion. As with all major life choices, this one should not be entered into lightly. This slide lists several self questions for students to think about, to reflect about, and to consider. We urge students to carve out time of their busy schedules to really do some honest reflection, thinking about what their goals are, and looking at some questions in terms of what their family's finances are, what their academic ambition is, in order to come to a post-secondary choice. Please see your school counselor if you would like someone else to discuss these important things with. The vast majority of juniors do not know what they would like to major in college, what career they would like to embark upon, or where they would go to college. So a great resource that students can utilize is Naviance. There are career interest inventories, there are wonderful college search programs, so it's really worth your while to log on to do some of these inventories and discuss the results with trusted family members and your school counselor. Here's a list of the major post-secondary choices students have. I really urge students to honestly explore each of these options before coming up with their selected path. All too often, students make a choice without fully exploring all of these options. I will review the first two, career and technical schools and the military. Before I do so, I just want to take a moment to discuss a gap year. So a gap year is a year generally before college that students take right after high school graduation, and they participate in generally a service learning travel experience. So many of our students, our past graduates, have gone on to participate in this program in various countries around the world. So oftentimes also students will apply to colleges at the end of their gap year and might have more doors open to them after participating in this gap year program. If you have any questions about the gap year, if you are interested in it at all, please talk to your school counselor. We have a lot more information on these programs. Current research suggests that today's graduate will have 10 to 15 jobs in their lifetime. There is a new model of education that suggests that students, instead of doing all of their education right after high school, that they split up their education over the course of their career. So for example, a student would graduate from high school, go to a technical school for a year to 18 months for a job, work in that field for maybe 7 to 10 years, and then at that point retrain for a different job in the same industry or for a new job in a new industry. And this cycle would continue throughout the course of a student's career. The hypothesis is that students will stay really up to date with their skills and really be competitive in this global, ever-changing marketplace. So again, if you have any questions about career and technical schools, please see your school counselor and we'd be happy to provide you with some additional information. Here's a list of several career opportunities for students who go to technical schools. So obviously this is not an all-inclusive list, but here are several careers some of our students have found interesting in the past. It's important to note that there really is a spectrum of careers, some more sort of traditional careers that you would think of that you would be qualified for after this type of training. So maybe working in ultrasound and construction and plumbing, but also some more sort of highly technical careers with, excellent pay. So also some medical careers that you can see at the bottom of the slide, which our students are often really interested in and, really can provide nice salaries as well. Please see your school counselor for additional information if you are at all interested in pursuing a technical education. Here are several schools to explore if you are interested in a technical education. If you're interested in a career in the armed services, there are several ways in which you can get involved. First off, you can enlist directly after high school and go to boot camp and begin your career at that point. You could also enroll in one of the United States service academies, which are the Military Academy in West Point, the Naval Academy in Maryland, the Coast Guard Academy in Connecticut, the Merchant Marine Academy in Long Island, or the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Most of these institutions are extremely competitive to get into, with the Coast Guard Academy and the Merchant Marine Academy being a little bit less so. Other options are to join the reserves, which requires less of a time commitment to the military, or ROTC, which is the Reserve Officer Training Corps. So this is a program for the student who wants to be a full-time college student and do their military training in their spare time on weekends and over the summer and school breaks. So please see your school counselor to discuss all of these options if you are interested in a career in the armed services. There are many benefits to a career in the armed services, several of which are listed on this slide, but definitely training for a future career. The military does offer some, top-notch training and also the ability to travel the world. Here are several armed services career opportunities. I will now turn it over to Colleen Green, who's school counselor for students whose last names begin with the letter H through R. Here are several armed services career opportunities.
If you are planning to attend college, you should begin the process now. Begin to narrow down your choices, such as whether you would like to go away to school or stay at home and commute. If you already have a specific major in mind, be sure to consider this while researching schools. Establishing your identity on formal documents, standardized tests, and application means that you need to use the same name throughout the process. The name on your birth certificate is the one on your official records here at VHS, so you should use this name throughout the entire application process. Most of your contact with colleges will be through email. It's important to create an appropriate working email address and get in a habit of checking it every day. If you need to contact a college during the application process, this is the most efficient method to use.
The Verona High School School Counseling Department hopes that you found this presentation both helpful and informative. As mentioned several times throughout this presentation, if you have any questions or concerns about the college application process, feel free to contact your counselor.